000 or email us on info@faithtodaytv.co.ke.
Every great journey begins with a single step. And at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, that step is met with warmth, guidance, and possibility. Here, learning goes beyond the books. It is where future healthcare heroes are nurtured by passionate instructors who believe in their potential. From theory to practical, our healthcare assistant students gain real-world skills in a real healthcare setting, preparing to serve, support, and make a difference from day one. Because at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, we don't just teach healthcare. We empower excellence. Admissions are now open for our May and June intakes. Step into your future today. Find us at Blessed House, 5th floor, opposite Garden City Mall. JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, empowering excellent healthcare.
At JCK Hospital, we understand that a child's smile is priceless. That's why our dental services are tailored with care and compassion to ensure your little ones have the best experience possible. From gentle checkups to specialized treatments, our pediatric dental experts create a safe and friendly environment, making every visit fun and stress-free. Because we believe healthy habits start young. And for the grown-ups, we've got you covered too, with top-notch dental care for the whole family. Visit JCK Hospital today, located in Roysambu, opposite Park University on Lumumba Drive, and experience dental care that's gentle, professional, and family-friendly. JCK Hospital, you first.
More than 60% of people with insulin resistance remain undiagnosed until complications like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease develop. That is according to CDC's National Diabetes Statistics for USA report in 2022. Now think about this. You check your blood pressure, you check your weight, but when was the last time you checked your waistline? Stay tuned as we unpack the science and decode what your waistline is really saying about your health. Greetings and welcome to yet another transformative episode of The Healthy You. This is your favorite health program on Faith Today Television. My name is Enock Kitondekijja, your host. And I'm so honored to walk this journey of healing, health, and transformation with you. As always, a special thanks goes to JCK Hospital. Now, these are our esteemed partners. They make this program possible. Do not get stuck in life, in your pursuit for health. These people are right here at your service. You can find them in Roysambu along Lumumba Drive, just next to Park University. They have also come up with a school, the JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences. Do you want to be a certified nursing assistant? Your time is now. A very short course, but very, very productive. Thank you so much. Now, today's topic is one that you don't want to miss. A conversation that we initiated last week. One that struck a chord to most of you We are talking about chronic illness, unmasked. And the argument is, what if your waistline is that one tool, that one thing that is revealing so much that is happening in your body that you don't know? Even before you get a diagnosis, your waistline is right there to help. Now, to help us unpack this peril is no other but a well-sought set of panelists. I mean, the Afya Institute is right here today. We have the entire, the key people. We are going to get to know about the founder. We have a consultant again. We will know the difference. But before I invite them to take us to the next level, I'm aware of those of you who follow us on social media. We celebrate you and we want to remind you to please subscribe to Face Today Television. And if this conversation makes sense, please go ahead and share with as many people as you can. Now, if you have a question, again, we have that number on your screen. Send it in right now. The earlier you do, the better. Back to my panelists. Gentlemen, say ladies first. Let's begin with the lady.
Thank you so much, Enock. It's my pleasure to be here today to share this information with you. My name is Ruth Wanja, a registered dietitian nutritionist with more than 5 years experience working with various hospitals, institutes, individuals, with in very many fields as well. So I'm pleased to be here, and I can't wait for us to get into our discussion today and share all that we have for you in store today.
Absolutely. Welcome to Face Today Television.
Thank you.
I love the determination, and your experience gives us so much confidence that we're going to get value today.
Yeah.
And then on your right, we have this gentleman who has very many caps. Today, I want him now not just to tell us who he is, but we want to also understand the foundation, the mind behind Afya. Where did it all start? We have Dr. Joseph here. As you introduce yourself, give us that background, sir.
Thanks, Enock. Thanks to our viewers. I'm happy to be back again here at Faith Today. And interesting journey. As I had earlier mentioned, I've been in the health systems for nearly 20 years now. And I majorly worked in helping to strengthen the health system and also in the curative sector, where we helped to create packages that really improve how people get cured. But I experienced a lot of frustrations in the whole system because life is just more than curing. There are many things that we think can be prevented. And on a personal level, we all know significantly what happened in 2019, 2020. So we had COVID, we had lockdowns, and I gained a lot of weight and my t-shirts couldn't fit anymore. And it was very discouraging when you have your waistline bulging. And at the time, I did what any normal person does, and I went to the gym. So I thought, go to the gym and I will lose my waistline and my t-shirts will fit again. But then I took the wrong form. That's what they say in the gym, and hurt my back. And I thought it was too serious. Then I remembered that, I am medically trained and I'm a scientist. I went back to trying to gather what else can you do to lose weight, and not just the gym. And that's how I stumbled upon insulin IQ. And this was a reason why many of us get sick, because of insulin that we discussed last time. And that's how Afya that's Afya program was born out of that. So plus 36 inches in about 4 months, just by a few lifestyle changes. I think my waist went to nearly 33 inches and my wife asked me to stop that because it would bring other issues. That's how Afya was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for our viewers, I love the way this man really birthed his idea, Afya, and he's helping countless number of people. When you look at his age, I don't know if he's okay sharing his age, but when he told me his age, I was really surprised. I could not believe it. I mean, he's the right person for the job today. If you have any question regarding the topic of the day, feel free to ask it right away. I mean, Dr. Ali, last week we started off, you gave us a good footing in regards to chronic illnesses. You're able to help us understand that it is not always written in our DNA, but it's written in our daily habits, our daily, the food we eat, what we take in, most importantly. So today, help us understand the Waistline in regards to metabolic health. How do they connect?
Great. So we talked about insulin and its influence. And one of the key things that influence insulin has is that it affects all our body cells. And affecting that body cells, let me break it down first that when you talk about body cells, it's how the cells take in energy or take in the glucose that we have, and then they use it for whatever purposes they are. If it's your ear, then you use it for hearing. If it's for your, any other organ, for muscles, you walking and all that. So if that gets affected, then you start having issues. But one of the first signs that this happens is in your liver. So what will happen is that when you have insulin resistance, then your liver tends to stop. In a normal circumstance, it will stop it has a storage of about 24 hours, of glucose, but it's not kept as glucose. It's kept as, I think it's called glycogen. So that's how it's kept. So if you have insulin resistance, or if you are insulin resistant, then apart from that kind of storage, if you don't use your storage, then your storage continues to be packed. So in this case, when you talk about the Waistline, is that in the first instance, when you don't clear whatever has been put in you, I think the best analogy is if you have water here, if you don't clear the water and you continue adding the water, then it will spill over. But when it spills over, the body has a way of, putting the glucose into fat. And that's how, in the first instance, then fat gets stored around the liver, or in the liver itself, then around the liver, then around the organs. So because the liver is around near your waist, I think one of the first places that it gets stored is around your waist. So after the liver is full, after the organs are full, then that becomes the other place where you store your liver, where you store the fat. Yes.
I mean, I like it when now you come up with real presentation, because the liver being I think it's the largest organ in the body.
Yes.
And now you've talked about other organs getting the fat building up, and then we see it revealed here. I think that is something interesting. I believe Ruth here has something to add. I mean, from a dietitian and nutritionist perspective, how do these two connect? The idea of insulin resistance, on top of what he has said, and then chronic illnesses coming in, other diseases also coming in. From your perspective, how does that happen?
I like what Joseph has explained and how he has explained the process that happens with fat formation in the body. So normally when you eat, your body should be able to break down the blood glucose. Then the body responds by producing insulin that is equal to the amount of glucose that you have taken in. So then it will now put that, the insulin will now convert that glucose to energy in the cells. So what happens is now when you have too much calories, we call them calories, in your diet, then now your body has too much glucose, and too much glucose will in turn cause there to be a spike in insulin. So what happens now, the cells are now packed with glucose, enough of it. Then the rest is now stored in the liver as glycogen. Any excess than that, because the liver can only pack about 1,700 to 2,000 kilocalories at a time. So any excess of that is now stored in the body as fat. So this is now excess energy stored in the body. So now this fat, as Joseph has explained, it's now packed in the liver, and then now it goes to other tissues in the body. So now we have the adipose tissue, we have the visceral tissues, which now forms the visceral fat. Visceral fat is now what we now come to see as adiposity along the waistline. Yeah, because now it's covering all the vital organs. It could start all the way up here, but you find mostly it's in the central region. Now that forms central obesity, which is now the increase in your waistline. That in turn now causes there to be a disconnect between the insulin and how the body is taking up the glucose, yes, that it's trying to absorb. Yeah, because now there's an excess of it. And when there's visceral fat, an excess of it, it acts as an endocrine organ on its own. Yeah, so now it's like you have an extra organ. An endocrine organ is something that produces hormones. Yeah, so now it's signaling like there's an inflammation, and it's mostly like macrophages, the cytokines and everything, now trying to tell the body that, it's signaling there's something there. And now that it's like a barrier for the insulin. Yeah. So what you find is now the body is, the insulin is trying to penetrate. So it's like the cell and the tissues are one part. Insulin is the key, but it's not able to penetrate because there's now a fat barrier. So there's now more insulin being sent in to try and unlock this, to try and get energy into the body cells, and it's unable to do that because of the fat. So that's how now your waistline fat, adiposity, which is central obesity, affects your insulin sensitivity. Yeah, an excess of it causes insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance.
Yes.
And about that now, speaking of now the resistance, what is the link between now that fat that is connected, collecting around the abdominal fat? How does it now bring in other illnesses like, diabetes, we talk about, blood pressure, we talk about, the like. How does that happen?
Okay. So having the central obesity or the increased waist circumference, it automatically causes metabolic syndrome. We call it metabolic syndrome, but essentially what it is now your body is thrown off. There's insulin resistance which has come in, like we already discussed how it comes in. This in turn also causes a high an increase in blood pressure. Yeah. So also there's now risk of cardiovascular diseases. Then having an increased visceral fat mass already, it's an inflammation of its own. Yes. So now there's increased inflammation in the body, and inflammation has been seen to be the first thing that happens as chronic diseases start to come into the body. So this inflammation now, in this inflamed state in the body now is at risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases. We see other diseases like polycystic ovarian syndrome, yes, and eventually even cancer, because now being in a prolonged state of inflammation is what now brings about things like cancer. Yeah. So the prolonged state of it is what is very dangerous for the body.
Wow, that's a great background. For our viewers, you can tell it is serious. It is not just another weight that is added on your body. it is affecting very many things. Your liver, one of the vital organs in your body, is affected, and it controls so many parts of your organs. And now when this inflammation continues, we are learning that it does not only affect just the neighboring organs, but we see she has talked about the polycystic ovarian syndrome coming in. The other day, Dr. talked about erectile dysfunction. A lot is out of play. I mean, we learn about even cancer coming in. That is a bit scaring, but we will get to learn more about that. I mean, Mr. Joseph, when you hear all this, we also want to understand, how do you get to know that your waistline is getting off balance? Is there a tool? Are there any metrics we need to know? What is your take on that?
Okay, thanks, Enoch. Yes, for our viewers, the hardest way of knowing that you have fat in the liver is to do an ultrasound or an MRI. So if you did that in your abdomen, then the MRI or ultrasound will tell you that. And you bring in, that is a very interesting question, because recently a friend who happens to be a radiologist told me that whenever she does ultrasound, because of other diseases, they've noticed that there actually are a lot of, that there is the livers have fat and the abdomen has a lot of fat, and they have to refer these patients to the dietitians, which brings a lot of confusion to the patient. So that's the hard part. But there's a very simple part to it, and it's as simple as a tape measure that we have at home. You just need to take a tape measure. Yes, like this one, the one we have here. This is the ordinary tape measure that you have at home, the tailor's tape measure, and measure around your waist. The waist is around your umbilicus,
Umbilicus, meaning
umbilicus, yes,
this,
where your umbilical is.
Yeah.
So you go around the circumference. So it's just the circumference around it. I don't know. You
can
have the
illustrate.
t-shirt,
Yeah, you can
yes,
illustrate.
yes. Okay.
You can illustrate. Feel free.
So you just.
Do I stand up?
Oh yeah, you can stand.
All right.
I think it's always easier to stand.
Okay.
So let me assume that's the umbilicus.
Yeah.
So you just measure around that.
Yeah.
Do I show people?
Yeah, you should. As long as you don't open the shirt.
Yes. So that is it. So that is that's your waist circumference.
Okay.
You do it very early in the morning.
Very early in the morning.
When you've just woken up.
Yeah.
When you've not eaten anything, because it shows it's the most natural time, and it's as natural as possible. You don't have to. You don't breathe out, so you relax like the way you are relaxed, because sometimes you can push it out and then you miss it. So that's how you measure your waist, and in the way you measure that, that's in that easy part. We have some population measures that we say this is like the right amount. For men, you get very worried if you measure this and it is more than 40 inches. You are at risk of having insulin resistance, and therefore other chronic diseases are knocking on your door. That's for men. For women, I think it's about 35. About 35. If it's more than 35, the waistline, then it's a problem for our women. So you'd start to get worried. And then apart from just that, because we are all different, there's another whole measure of seeing whether you are at risk or not. You can actually measure your height also, so as you get a proportion. So you can measure your height, because your height and waist. So waist and your height for anybody, whether it's women or men, I think it should be less than 0.5. So if it's more than 0.5, that means your waist is bigger than your height, then you have a problem. So those are the two simple measures of knowing that you actually have fat.
Wow.
I don't know if I should add that when you get that, then the most important thing, and maybe we will discuss this later, is that you can actually reduce that. And when you start some lifestyle changes, that is the first fat that will go away.
I like it when you talk about lifestyle changes. I mean, for our viewers, this is something that we want to now dig deep in our second segment, so you don't want to miss this. And in case you have any question, these people are here. They are really trained. They have the skills. They are ready to answer everything. I mean, I didn't know that as simple as just this step measure, I mean, you can know so much about your health.
Yes.
How much is this, by the way? It's is it more than 1,000?
No, it's as cheap as 100 bob, or even less, depending on where you get it.
Depending on where
Yeah,
you get it.
yeah, and you could
Okay.
just have it. So, aside from maybe the measuring scale that people have in their houses, they could have this as well.
Okay.
Height doesn't vary so much. So
Yeah.
once you've taken your height, maybe you can only check maybe every now and then. But for fully grown adults past the age of 22, your height shouldn't change so much. So as long as you know your height. So as Joseph said, you could do the ratio between your height and your waist circumference, of which we usually say it should be, your waist circumference should be less than half of your height. So that's where the 0.5 comes from. Yeah. So if you're, for example, on 70 centimeters, your waist circumference should be less than 85 centimeters. Yes. And then now for the ranges of the waist circumference, centimeters is easier because then you can be able to find the ranges of risk. So less than 94 for men, less than 80 for women, centimeters. Anything between now 94 and 100 for men is you're already getting to the risk zone. Yeah. Anything between 80 and 88 for women, you're now getting into the risk zone. Now, anything above that, you're fully at risk of metabolic syndrome, which is already predisposing you to chronic illnesses.
Wow. I like the details. And then for our viewers, those of you who are not familiar with centimeters, maybe for the inches, for the women, if it is, it should be at least below, 40 inches, right? And then for men, 40 inches,
yes.
and then 35 for
women.
For the women.
Yes.
All right. Mathematics here is mathematicking. So, speaking of that, the height, I hear you talk about now the height and then being the non-variable here. So a lot of us, when we go to these hospitals or we find people where they're doing medical checkups, we go for body mass index, we go for weight. Why is it important now to consider the waistline above all other measures?
You find for weight and height, they're distributed differently. Yes. So you could find a very tall person with maybe a huge bone density and everything, who has maybe the person is, let's say, 175 centimeters and they're probably 100 kilos. So what we do actually now on a more advanced level is we do body composition analysis to be able to show us the proportions of the different things that encompass the body. So we have the fat, the muscle, the bones, and the water. But now, on a not so advanced level, you don't have your body composition analyzer at that point. The best thing now is to go in after you've done the BMI. You've noted the person is probably overweight or obese, but now you want to see how this weight is distributed in the body. So that's when we come in and do the waist circumference. Yes, because now you would someone could have a high BMI, but their waist distribution is more on the lower body, which that is safer.
That's normal.
That's normal.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They could still maybe need to lose the weight, but it's safer to have it maybe on the lower body, as compared to the trunk, which is mostly in the central region, which is now the central obesity. So now in that case, once you do the waist circumference, you can be able to now fully advise this person what they need to do, the interventions, because as we've said, once the waist circumference is past a certain range, now the definitely have a lot of visceral fat and they need to work on. So BMI is important to just screen, but waist circumference is a bit more detailed if you do not have the advanced methods of body composition analysis. Yes.
Wow, this is quite interesting. I mean, as simple as having this step measure, there's so much you can do even before a diagnosis is made. I mean, the medics themselves, some of them just limit to BMI, weight, but there is more to that. And we discover that this simple tool, just the step measure, can reveal so much. I mean, for our viewers, I know this is very interesting and exciting. If you've sent in your question, you do so well. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we're now going to understand how do we reverse now this, the weight. We've talked about abdominal fat and the diseases coming along with. How do we reverse that? What lifestyle changes do we need to do? That is what we're going to discuss in the second part of this discussion. So don't change the dial, just 1 minute. We're coming back.
Every great journey begins with a single step. And at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, that step is met with warmth, guidance, and possibility. Here, learning goes beyond the books. It is where future healthcare heroes are nurtured by passionate instructors who believe in their potential. From theory to practical, our healthcare assistant students gain real-world skills in a real healthcare setting, preparing to serve, support, and make a difference from day one. Because at JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, we don't just teach healthcare. We empower excellence. Admissions are now open for our May and June intakes. Step into your future today. Find us at Blessed House, 5th floor, opposite Garden City Mall. JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences, empowering excellent healthcare.
Faith Today TV is here to make your brand outstanding. Worry not on where to advertise your business or your product. Call us on 0114 777 000 or email us on info@faithtodaytv.co.ke.
Hello there, my name is Enock. Taking care of your health should be a top priority. Looking at the various engagements that we have today, it is so easy to forget about our health, mental well-being. That is why we introduce to you the Healthy You Talk Show, a brand new show that is going to address matters concerning your health, nutrition, stress management, mental health, name it. We bring to you a wide range of experts who are going to be touching pertinent issues concerning our health. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. live on Faith Today TV. Hey there, welcome back once again to our second segment of our discussion. We have the Afya Institute right here. The founder, the dietitian consultant is right here helping us understand where the abdominal fat comes from, where the diseases, most of the diseases that people are struggling with are coming from, and all the link with the abdominal fat, the waistline. There's so much content they are giving us. And I want to inform you that if you've sent in your question, we are going to be answering it in this segment. And as you did, I hope you sent in your name as well and where you are watching from, so that we can be able to help you maximally. Remember, this program is brought to you by JCK Hospital. Do not forget that. If you're stuck anywhere, matters concerning your health, these people are right here at your service. They also have the JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences that is empowering dreams. If you want to be a health professional, an advocate, you are passionate, but you don't have a way in, JCK Hospital College of Health Sciences is here to help you achieve your dream. I'm so excited. You guys are giving so much value, and I see so many questions coming in. But before we answer Susie, I see Susie from Mirema has sent in her question. I wanted probably Madam Ruth to help us understand some of those lifestyles that we adopt, more so in the digital era, some of the things that we do that are predisposing us to this, abdominal fat. Help us understand those briefly. Yes, and then maybe you can talk about the 3K lifestyle changes that we need to adopt right now, so that, for people who are struggling to reduce this abdominal fat. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. The lifestyle that we're seeing right now commonly, and it's in all age ranges, is a sedentary lifestyle. Yes, so you're having people who they wake up and they're probably seated on their couch watching something, or even for working people, they probably get into a car, they're seated, they go to work, sit the whole day, come back home, sit again, and probably go to bed. So a sedentary lifestyle is definitely the number one factor that is going to predispose you to obesity. And in today's discussion, we're talking about central obesity, to be specific, and a big or high risk waistline circumference. So sedentary lifestyle is one thing. Then the kind of diets that people are taking. So okay, in relation to sedentary lifestyle, so we're having people who are not exercising at all. Yes, and we, according to the WHO guidelines, even a walk or an exercise that is at least 30 minutes per day could at least put you out of risk of developing this chronic diseases or any other lifestyle related diseases. Number two is the diets that people are having. Now we're seeing a lot of saturated fats. These are fats that is harder for the body to break down. So it's a lot of fats that are unhealthy. We call them unhealthy. So then even the type of cooking methods, we're having a lot of deep fried foods and processed foods and all of that, compared to more wholesome diets that are healthier, better for the body, that are now putting you out of the risk instead of at risk of developing diseases. The other things is now maybe for adults, mostly we see maybe alcohol intake, smoking. These things definitely for sure will put you at risk of developing this disease, because now, like you find, like for alcohol, people do not understand that the way your body metabolizes it, it actually has more calories than anything else that you can take. It has more calories than even carbohydrates. Yeah, so there's definitely the ranges that are allowed, but anything more than that is putting you at risk. Yes. What people lifestyle changes are wholesome. Yes, and also stress factors as well. Yeah, so you're finding people are more isolated nowadays. They're going through so many stresses by themselves and not speaking up, not looking for ways to effectively cope with the stresses in their lives. So this in turn now would even, you can find someone is sedentary, not doing anything, not because they want to, but because they're stressed. So they now want to withdraw and be by themselves. So it's healthier to speak up, to have a community where you can come together. You could even ask a friend to go for a walk with you or a family member. It's healthier and better that way. So lifestyle changes should be wholesome. So diet, it's the best thing to do is find a dietitian or a nutritionist to help you through your journey, to come up with a plan that is specialized for you to start working on your goals, because they'll be able to do an assessment and come up with a plan for you to go through. Then for the exercise, anything even as a brisk walk, 30 minutes is enough, will be more effective than just doing nothing at all. Gym, people could go for the gym and all of that, but for some people that is out of range, and some people are not even able to because maybe of their schedules or their health conditions. So you can just work with what you have. Even home exercises are good enough. We even have things like water intake. We're actually seeing a steep decline in the amount of water people are taking in a day. Yes, water is very healthy to even balance the blood sugars, blood pressure, and all of that. You find someone coming in with high blood pressure and high blood sugar, and you ask them, when's the last time you took water? And they're like, a day ago. And you're like, oh, what's that about? And you give them enough water and everything, and their body kind of resets. So water intake is important.
And,
Yes.
And I know you have a lot. I mean, I am looking at Mr. Joseph here. I was like, this guy is spilling everything. Would even have clients. I mean, for those of you who really want the detailed approach, these people have it all. So I know they're going to share their contact. But before you give us everything,
Yes.
let us get to hear what our viewers have to say. Do you agree?
We
continue with the viewers.
Yes. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. That is Joseph there. We have the first question, Joseph. Someone is saying, I'm Susie from Mirema. Yeah. Are there routine tests or checkups that can help people monitor the health risks linked to their waist size? I think we talked about that, did we?
Yes, we did mention, Susie, there are things you can do in the lab, but also in that, the one we've just said, you can actually just check by measuring just your waistline. Okay. Yes, against your height.
Against your height.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is one you can do, Susie. And he talked about the liver. I think liver function tests can also help to know the functionality of your liver.
That can help.
Yeah.
But you can do just this is what we call the cholesterol.
Yeah.
Instead of doing everything,
there
are two key ones you can do.
Yeah.
There's what we call high HDL.
Yeah.
If you go to the lab and do a HDL, anything below 40, below 50 for a woman is a concern.
Yeah.
Below 40 for a man is a concern.
Yeah.
Then, so those are the two.
Those are the two, cholesterol
and triglycerides. Triglycerides. Those are lab.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are three you can do in the lab.
So don't get confused, our viewers. When he talks about HDLs, he's talking about the good fat in your body. There are limits, there are metrics to that, and they will help you understand all that. Then Kahawa Wendani, this is Judy from Kahawa Wendani. Thank you so much, Judy, for tuning in. I hope you have subscribed and you have shared with your family. Don't watch this alone. It's really nice stuff. She's saying, can someone have slow metabolism naturally? Because I've always had that. Ruth.
That's an interesting a topic she's brought up, and a very valid question. Naturally, I would say no, because no one is, comes in with a stamp of you have a slow metabolism. But now what happens is, as I was explaining earlier, the diet and lifestyle factors, and now especially your insulin sensitivity is what will determine your metabolism. So you could find now over time there's things that have happened or things that she's not been able to monitor that have brought about this. And so for Judy, she needs to go through maybe a series of tests to make sure that nothing is off, because it could be all sorts of things that are off, especially hormonal related, thyroid, insulin, and all that. So she could go through that, check everything. Then now, if anything is out of range, she could get treatment for that. But it's not cast on stone that anyone has a slow metabolism. It's just something that is a bit off in the body that's causing that. And you find with hormones, one spills into another. So you probably start with insulin resistance. It causes thyroid issues, and maybe for the women, a lot of now female-related hormones in the body, which now things like PCOS come in, and metabolism is low. So there's so many factors to look at when it comes to metabolism, not just one blanket cover. Yeah.
I call that value when I'm discussing with you. I call that value. And we appreciate that. We have Dennis from Thome. Dennis, thank you so much for watching. He says, good morning. What role does sleep play in weight management and chronic illness prevention? He says, what role does sleep play in weight management and chronic illness prevention?
Oh, interesting. Thanks, Dennis. Sleep is part of your, I would say, stress management. One of the things that you use when you are trying to manage your stress. So if you don't sleep well, then it means you could be stressed, and stress has a lot of things behind it. Ruth mentioned inflammation. So if you don't get enough sleep, then means your body is not at rest. Your body cannot really, when you don't rest, then you can't rejuvenate. I think we call it rejuvenate. You can't now rebuild. You can't. There's so much. So you can't even detox. The natural detoxification cannot happen if you don't have adequate sleep. So that cascades into all these things. Yeah. And sometimes it could cause even, it could predispose you to even hormonal imbalances. Yeah. Lack of sleep. So that's how it plays. It's not like it doesn't act on its own. Yeah. It's within many other factors. Yes.
And I agree with you, because us being in the digital era, we are exposed to a lot of, gadgets. We are having a lot of time on screens, scrolling and everything. Yeah. And of course, the science says if you spend a lot of time on your screens before you sleep, it also reduces the hormone melatonin that is produced by the brain. Yeah. And also it affects your sleep the way it's so much. This is very interesting discussion. For those of you who are watching, it's important that you have enough sleep. Like the experts are emphasizing, more so in the digital era, it is important that you do not compromise your sleep. What is the optimum time for sleep?
I'd say anything between 7 to 9 hours.
7 to 9 hours.
Yes.
Perfect. Good. So, Dennis, you get that answer. Esther from Juja here, she says, I'm not eating that much, but my belly keeps growing. What could be causing that? Esther from Juja. What do you have to say, Joseph?
Oh, interesting. Sometimes it's not just you're not eating much, but also how often you are eating. You could eat very little, but you are eating very often. Every 2 hours you are eating. You are eating small, but you are eating too often. So I don't know how Esther eats, if it is just small, but whole, like how often that happens. So that could be a factor. Because we remember when you talk about insulin is the hormone that keeps your weight up. So among many other things, but key to it is the insulin. So the more you eat, the more likely that your insulin remains high. And then you have what we call hyperinsulinemia, like continuous high amount of insulin
in the blood system.
Then that plays a part. So again, it's not just how much you are eating, but even when you eat. Often? Because when you eat, if you eat, let's say one of the things that will keep your weight up is, let's say, carbohydrates is the one that spikes a lot of your insulin, glucose and insulin, because really you can't measure insulin very easily, but it spikes your glucose. So that could be one of the issues that still, and then could be she has other issues. So again, I would say she needs to do a whole assessment just to know where the weight is coming from. Remember, it's about what the cause is. So she needs to
cause. Identify the cause.
Yes.
And I think that's very important. I believe Ruth can add on this, because there are people who naturally are a bit when someone just eats something small like this, they get their weight. How could you help such people who are really struggling to really reduce their weight. And, you know, it's a challenge because people, like, they don't eat so much, but just small thing is enough to, you know, get their body off.
I understand her struggle because what happens also in turn to what Joseph said, it could be the frequency of eating, but also some people think now eating less is what is going to contribute to weight loss. But actually what happens, your body, because there's so many factors, there's also your the hormones in your brain that now are signaling your body and your whole metabolism that we are getting less of what we need. Yes. And this is where now things like even nutrigenomics come in, where now you look at people's genes. There's people now, because of that little food intake that they probably are doing it intentionally or not intentionally, the body signals it as we're in starvation mode. So now any little that it gets, it stores. Any little that it gets, it stores. So it's different for different people. So that is why it's important to have a tailored weight loss plan or a diet plan for you specifically, so that now you discuss the specific issues that you have been facing. You're going to find someone saying they only eat very little and now they even gain weight and not lose. Some people eat very little and nothing, or a lot and nothing happens. So it depends on the individual. And what happens now in this case, so many things are in play, so many other hormones are in play, and how the individual metabolizes. So you can find for this person, it would even be wiser to put them on maybe a time diet or like intermittent fasting, where they could eat as much as they want, so that their body now does not interpret that as hunger, or a hunger strike or whatever. So it's different for different people. It's very individualized. So yes, that would be my input.
Wow. I like the detail. I mean, Dr. here, could you also add to this to maybe give us confidence? You talked about the freedom walk last time, that framework. Does it also cater for such people?
Yes. This is a very individualized work when we talk about getting into a program of getting better. We actually don't, at Afya, we don't consider losing weight as the issue. The issue is getting well. So one of the first things that you need to do is understand where you are. What's your status? You know, we will take certain measures, including the tape measure. Then you'll go to the lab, then understand that. Then you understand how you manage your stress. Then we start on a journey. And the next step is normally you starting to make very deliberate efforts. You make your own meal plan, and Ruth can add into that.
Yeah.
And this meal plan is what you pick yourself, because we are all very different, as you can hear. So what works for me is not what will work for you. So we do that. Then from there on, we put you on an accountability journey. So we will work with you for those 90 days where we keep track of the goals that you have set, ensuring that you're actually doing the right things, ensuring that you are hitting your goals of reducing your waistline. You are 40 this week, next week you should be 39, 38. You are eating better, hitting those goals. Then eventually you getting into a stable position, and then after that you can now even teach others.
Yeah.
To us, it's about you joining a movement of getting better. So you get into that position where now you can train others.
You can help others
on being healthy.
Yeah.
And losing weight is just one aspect of being healthy.
So this is like a holistic approach.
Yes.
That is helping someone wholesomely.
Yes.
I agree with you, and I think that is where we need to get to. That's where we need to get to. I mean, it's very important. We need to revise how we have been approaching the lifestyles, our health.
Yes.
Not just about us, but also other people. I mean, for our viewers, you can tell this is nothing but value. So if you helped us forward this to as many people, you do so well, propagate this good stuff. So many questions today. I hope that we answer these ones all. This is Rhoda. I'm Rhoda from Tindegwa. Did I pronounce that right? Tindegwa, right.
Yes.
Does drinking a lot of soda or juice really affect my waistline that much? I see Ruth smiling. I think you're the best to answer that.
Really, that much. Well, yes, it is, because specifically because those are very processed drinks. Yes, so they're very high in sugar, and you find now for these refined sugars, the rate of absorption into the body is very fast. And what will happen is that now too much of it, definitely, because there's the amount of calories you should take in per day. So let's say you even have one soda. One soda is already taking up so much of the calories you should take per day because it's very high in sugar and refined sugar at that. So refined sugar is very easily absorbed into the body, and in turn now will just be, especially if she's not using up that energy, it will be stored in the body, and definitely there'll be an increase in weight.
In weight?
Yes, so it is affecting her weight for sure.
All right. On top of that, do you have any other myths that you hear that people have concerning weight and nutrition and things like that that you could add?
Well, there's so many. I think one you've touched on is the eating less. That one, that you should just try and eat less. There's also people who go on fad diets. I think now to encompass all the myths is fad diets, where you're hearing someone is just maybe eating eggs only, or cabbage or something. You know, they're very one kind of food for a very long time, or trying to avoid some certain. So there's diets that work, yes, because now, for example, you have keto diets where you're trying to reduce the carbohydrates intake, which is okay, because and then now for a goal, and you find that kind of diet is better, or the Mediterranean diet. But now you find these fad diets that people go on. Some of them are, most of them actually are not scientific. There's no scientific backing to how that diet would be able to help. For example, I've had people going on fully carnivorous diets, so they're not having any vegetables, no fruits, no carbohydrates, nothing. So that's it's not fully backed by science. Are people having them? Yes, but as a dietitian, I would not recommend that. Yes.
I like the way you bring out the clarity, and I think it's very important because there's so much confusion out there. I mean, Daktari, we have so much that to handle today, but because of time, we may not proceed. I want you to, conclude by also helping us understand. We come from a background, the Christian perspective, where we believe that the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. So many people have that belief. So how does that relate with chronic illnesses, lifestyle changes, and then what we are talking about right now, managing chronic illnesses? How does that relate?
Thanks, Enoch. That's a whole preaching. But in 1 minute, in the Bible, when you look at the Bible, there are rules about what to eat, what not to eat. And of course, Jesus did a lot of healing. So that tells you that there is so much we have responsibility over our bodies. It's not everything that we should be eating. There are things that we should eat. And there are ways, if you are to connect with God, then you need to be healthy. So we have a responsibility of trying as much as possible to maintain healthy bodies. And we've seen our patriarchs in the Bible. They lived to many years. I think, was it Abraham, 120? You have David, 100 plus, Isaac, 100 plus. And I think there should have been many others who also lived for a long time, and they were well. So I think that's a wake-up call that we also need to be responsible on our bodies, because that's the only way you then can connect with God. You can't connect with God if you are not healthy, or you struggle. I would say you can't, but you are going to struggle. I'm not sure, even probably that's the reason why, people before Jesus started the ministry, he had to fast. Before Moses was given the tablets, they had to fast. That most likely had something to do with their body.
their body.
Yes.
I think that's a discussion that we should have.
Yeah.
And I like you. I like that you give perspective to it. I mean, Ruth, what is your say on that? I mean, as you even give your parting shots.
Okay. I like what you said. The body is the temple for the Holy Spirit. So what you put into it, yeah. We usually say garbage in, garbage out, yeah. So you find people, trying to be on their spiritual journey. They're trying to be like at the top notch, but health-wise, they're struggling, yeah. So you could even find people maybe who want to. I've personally had clients who want to maybe even go on a fast together with their members of the congregation, but they couldn't because the blood sugar becomes an issue. Yeah. So you need to take care of your body so that even spiritually you are at your best. Yeah. You could even, as Joseph has mentioned, there's fasting that you could do, which has both physical and spiritual benefits, which is highly recommended as well. Yes, but the key thing is to just watch what you put into your body. That is what builds this temple that you're talking about. And yeah, we have seen so countless people who take care of their body, take care of their spiritual health, and all this together because it's holistic. You're not looking at a human being from one perspective. You're looking at so many things. You're looking at the body, the spirit, the social wellness and everything. So I believe that everyone should try and be as well as possible. And health is actually described as that. It's everything together. It's not just one thing. It's not the absence of disease. It's about being well in all aspects of your life. Yeah. And so my parting shot is we're here to help anyone who is trying to be healthy on this journey. It's not just about weight, as we have said. It's about feeling well. It's about taking care of your health. It's about making sure that you have the energy to do what you need to do. You can wake up, go to work, exercise, be with your family members and friends, and do all of these things effectively and show up as a great member of society generally. So we're here. It's a very the program we have is very inclusive, and it's a very personalized journey. So you're not feeling like the way you go to hospital and then you're given medication and you're told, okay, go home. No, this one is you go through the steps together and you're able to become a better person at the end of it.
You are able to become a better person at the end of the day. I think that's very important. I mean, we are so grateful, Ruth and Joseph, for your expertise. You guys have broken down the science for our viewers. I think that's very important. And then you added on the practical part of it, the spiritual aspect. You are guys amazing, and we really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Joseph and Ruth. We are really grateful. For our viewers, thank you again for tuning in to Faith Today Television. We learned that it's not just about the weight. It's about your entire wellness. It's about your entire wellness. It's about you being whole in all aspects of life. And remember, this program is brought to you by JCK Hospital. Now, these are advocates for health, for the body, mind, and soul. My name is Enock Kitondekijja, and you have been watching the Healthy You program on Faith Today Television. Until we meet next time, stay proactive, stay informed, and stay healthy. God bless you.
At JCK Hospital, we understand that a child's smile is priceless. That's why our dental services are tailored with care and compassion to ensure your little ones have the best experience possible. From gentle checkups to specialized treatments, our pediatric dental experts create a safe and friendly environment, making every visit fun and stress-free. Because we believe healthy habits start young. And for the grown-ups, we've got you covered too, with top-notch dental care for the whole family. Visit JCK Hospital today, located in Roysambu, opposite Park University on Lumumba Drive, and experience dental care that's gentle, professional, and family-friendly. JCK Hospital, you first.